I'm Dana Han-Klein here with James Franco and Dave Franco for The Disaster Artist.
Oh, nice. What, you got spoons?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
Did you have to print that out?
I was going to say, yeah.
No, I had a framed picture of a spoon already. I was like, oh, I've been waiting all these years.
It's so weird
just
that the
for today.
stock photos were of spoons.
Only one of them's a spoon, it looked like.
What's that?
Only one of them looks like a spoon, right?
Is that right?
I don't know. The other, I
you know
figure
better
out
than I do.
I couldn't, well, I was trying to figure it out today. I was like, what are the other two? But I went with the classic spoon.
Classic.
Yes.
I'd love to know, what do you admire most about Tommy Wiseau and Greg Sestero?
What do we admire the most about them? I mean, part of the reason we took on this story and wanted to make the movie was because we really relate to both of these guys. I mean, we were both struggling actors at one point, and I think we just really respect the fact that they took a huge swing. You know, they went for it, and that's saying more than a lot of people who come to LA to try to make it in the movie business. You know, a lot of people, you know, have these huge aspirations and they keep talking about doing it, but they never actually do anything. And so, I don't know, yeah, it's very admirable that they had a strong vision, and as weird as it was, they gave it everything they had.
I totally agree with all that. And I think individually, I would say that I love Greg's loyalty. He is such a great friend and has been such a great friend to Tommy for like 20 years now.
I was so happy to know that they're still friends. I was so surprised.
Tommy calls him his best
Yeah.
friend. He's like, hey, my best friend. He said it to me 3 weeks ago. It was so sweet.
Yeah.
They still talk every day. And Tommy, I really respect that he got his movie made. You know, it's no small feat to do that. You know, how many thousands upon hundreds of thousands of millions of people have come to break into the movie industry and just don't have anything to show for it. You know, it's a really, really tough business. And in the face of a mountain of no's, Tommy, you know, has made his movie.
You got it done.
Yeah.
What was the most challenging, either like emotionally or logistically, scene to recreate?
Tonally, there's this scene in our film where, you know, famously, you know, there are these ridiculous love scenes in the room, about 3 or 4 of them in the first 35 minutes. One of them is repurposed.
About 35 minutes, it feels like.
But one of them is also the repurposed footage from the other one. Tommy liked it so much he just used different shots from it, or the same shots. And so we have a scene in our film where we show the behind the scenes of that and of the making of that, where again the legend is that Tommy directed almost naked, and it was a really hard scene tonally because on one level it's ridiculous and funny, and another level it's really inappropriate, and then on even a third level, what we're showing is that Tommy is having a bit of a breakdown, that he is worried that he's losing his best friend, and so he's acting out on set, and he's also kind of full of a lot of self-hatred, I think, in that moment. And so just creating that and having all of that stuff go on in a single scene was pretty tough.
Yeah. And he's doing some of the more deplorable things in that scene.
Yeah.
And to make it so, you know, so you still can sympathize for him after that scene, it's very difficult because there's a version of that scene where you hate him so much that you can never, that the character can't recover, that the audience just is not going to be on his side after that.
Did you try out that version, or was it just like?
No, meaning, I think actually all the sort of little things on set and blocking and choreographing and working, you know, with the emotional levels of the actors and all of that and what everyone's doing, I think we actually figured out that when we revealed that there was a emotional kind of spur that happened before the scene, that allows the audience to understand why he's acting so badly, you know, and that even though they won't condone it, they'll understand it. And that was really the secret. It wasn't, as opposed to, he just comes to set and makes all these silly decisions, you know. There's a reason behind them, you know.
If you guys were auditioning for the original Room, and who do you think you would have been cast as?
Sadly, they would have made me play the Denny part. Just because Philip Haldeman, he was like 26 playing a...
He was the second oldest of the cast, he was behind Tommy, I think.
Yeah, 26 playing like a 15.
He was only in his mid-20s, you know, so it's not that much older.
I think the character's supposed to be 15 or think right? And I've always been cast about 10 years
more.
younger than I actually am. So I would have been Denny.
I think I'd go for Chris R, but I'd probably maybe cast as Greg. I don't know.
You seem so upset by that.
No, Chris R is great.
No, you seem upset by being cast as
Greg? Greg's not a bad part. Yeah, I mean, Mark's
a great role, but Chris R is a really,
Chris R got
stands out.
That scene in The Disaster Artist, I was like, oh, man,
so good, right?
He might be the best actor in the
whole
room.
In the room, definitely.
Oh, I don't know. The therapist is, taking a cake.
No, Chris R beats the therapist.
What's the most unexpected thing you learned from the book, The Disaster Artist, that influenced the making of the movie?
I mean, the whole story.
Yeah,
just, you know,
really.
Like you go watch The Room, and you can just read that as like, wow, this is so bizarre. And you get a sense that he's really trying, but you don't understand the depth of, you know, his motivation.
Yeah.
You know, that, in fact, what you get from the book is that we sort of touch on in our movie, but, you know, maybe, you know, it was even darker actually in reality, where Tommy was possibly even like suicidal at some point. And and was leaving these really sad messages on Greg's machine. And then the next thing Greg knows, he showed up with this script for The Room. And if you know The Room, you know, Tommy's character commits suicide at the end of the movie. And so when I read that, I was very moved, because it was like, I saw that The Room, you know, Tommy's making of a movie wasn't just an artistic ambition or, you know, a way to kind of connect to others. It actually could have saved his life in the sense that he channeled his depression into the movie, you know, and that's sort of what an artist does.
I was just going to say, I think that's what every artist struggles with, right? It's either art or death. Yeah. But it's true. Like, I'm curious, how do you define success? Personally.
Yeah, personally.
Not necessarily like box office dollars or, you know, we finished the film. But.
Yeah. So I think earlier in my career, I would get more upset when my movies didn't perform at the box office. And now I think the only thing I can really ask for is if I make something, if I like it. If I like something that I made, that's all I can control. I can't control how everyone else is going to respond to it. And it's like, what else can you ask for? It's like I put so much into everything I do, and if I walk away and say, you know what, I did everything I could for that, and I'm proud of the final product, then that's a win for me.
Well, one of the things our movie does do is it opens up that very question, you know, because The Room is something that didn't come out the way Tommy intended it. I think he was very sincere when he made it, and people laughed at it. But on the other hand, it's, you know, been playing now for 14 and a half years to sold out crowds in almost every major city. And so what that also says to me is that people are getting, you know, people go back to it. Like, people are getting something from it. And I think it's more than just laughter. There's a great feeling in those screenings. It's like a communal feeling. There's something, you know, and like you get it. Like, you're a Room fan, and it's like, we get it, you know, it's just that kind of thing. It's a club in a way. And so in that sense, I think The Room is a success, and it really defies conventional criteria for success, you know. For me, I don't know. I mean, I think I remember Soderbergh came to NYU when I was a student there, and he talked about, different. You defined your own. Why is that funny?
Sorry, I also went to NYU. I think I went to that.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh, okay. So he was talking about like define your own success, and if success is like awards to you, all right, that's success, or if it's that you get to keep making the kind of stuff that you want to make, that's also a kind of success. And I think I lean more towards that I get to make a movie like this with my family and friends, Seth Rogen and everyone, and make the kind of movie we want to make and have a great time doing it. Like, it doesn't get better than that. So if that's the most success I'll get, I'll take it.
The best day on a movie set's better than any other day.
Totally.
A best day on worst day on a movie set with your friends and family on a good project? Yes.
Yes.
Thank you both so much. Congrats on the film.
Appreciate it.